Hey everybody, I got a quick question for you. Has your life gotten better because of AI? Do you think the world is a better place because of AI? Now, I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and I've been looking at the world and looking at the people around me, and I'd have to say, no, AI is not making things better. AI is making it worse. Now, I'm going to explain why. Now, before we get started, my name is Sean. I have a background in tech, and on this channel, we talk about AI and AI's effect on humanity. Now, I talk to you without a script. I just talk to you as if you're sitting here with me, openly, honestly. And when I pause, it's because I'm thinking about what I'm about to say. I'm not just reading a bunch of stuff to you. So let's get started. Now, it's hard to talk about AI without talking about the internet itself. Now, the internet has really gone downhill. I remember when I first used the internet, I was in college and I was using Netscape. And I even had an AOL account. Now, back in the day, the AI, the internet was a very, I would say, innocent, more pure place. People were getting on. Businesses were putting their websites up. Even professors were putting up their lessons. Hobbyists would put up pictures of what they're doing. And so back then, the early search engines like Yahoo and Google and things like that, um, when you did a search, they were very good at getting you the results you want. And it really made the world smaller. I could chat with somebody in Europe. I could find a part across the country in Florida and have it delivered to me. It was very, very useful. But if you fast forward to today, the internet has turned to utter garbage. And AI is largely to blame for that. Not all. The reason AI is not all to blame for it is because the big companies help turn it to crap. And when I'm saying the big companies, I'm talking about Facebook, Google, places like that. They turned it to garbage. A Google search back in the 90s and the 2000s, the early 2000s, doesn't even resemble what it is today. What it is today is a whole bunch of things that you're not looking for. When you do a search, you find what you're not looking for. But now you add AI. And AI has an amazing ability to act like a human. So now we've got all of these bot farms. We're going to call them bot farms. And what they're doing is they're trying to influence public opinion. They're trying to influence you to purchase things. It's all about control. So now we've got people set up working hundreds or thousands of bots simultaneously. They're making posts on Facebook. They're commenting on posts, even on this channel. They are signing up for YouTube accounts, and then they comment on your videos. And they're getting a little bit harder to spot. One of the things that I can spot them with is when they joined. If they comment and they joined yesterday, they're probably a bot. But if they joined 10 years ago or 15 years ago, they're probably not a bot. But we are in crazy times right now where nothing is real anymore. Do you guys notice that nothing seems real? The only thing that I can find that's real is if I go outside, out into the woods, and look at the trees. They're real. If I get on the phone, over half of this crap is fake now. It's spreading everywhere. And they say right now that 51% of all internet traffic is AI bots. It's not even mostly human anymore. And they say by next year, 2026, that up to 90% of all activity on the internet will actually be AI. It won't be people. And you know what? These bots are constantly posting and commenting and leaving reviews, fake reviews, so that you'll buy a product because you see 20 other people love it. But what you don't realize is they're not even human. They're fake. We've gone from the world getting smaller to where we can reach out to anyone on the planet to now we can't. It is just a big jumbled soup of sewer. You guys tell me if I'm wrong on this. Now, here's another thing that's happening, and Facebook is one of the biggest culprits of this. This is Meta. They started creating these algorithms that push addiction. They started with games like Farmville. They were experimenting on people. Anybody that you know was playing Farmville and you saw it on the Facebook feed, that was Facebook keeping them corralled, keeping them addicted. They created this game where you grow these crops, and if you get off of Facebook and if you don't come back in 4 hours, your crops are dead. So they created that, and that was an experiment for later when they're going to create more sinister things. Facebook, their whole thing was to try to keep you on Facebook. And they are big in the addiction business. They're not there to help you. They are there to keep you on Facebook. And if you notice when you go on Facebook, you don't see your friends as much anymore. You don't see your family. What you see is a lot of content that is created by AI. And I'm not talking about a person sitting there creating it. I'm talking about a AI generated automatic, creates an article, and then we all react to it. And what they found is that the most effective types of posts are the ones that are sensational, ones that make you really angry. You know, they found out if they can just freak you out about something, you'll stay there and you'll keep scrolling and you'll be engaged. They work off of fear. You know what? And in the midst of all this, all of the truth gets buried. It's hard to find anything on the internet that is real anymore. Most of the internet now is been written by AI. AI harvested people's works, information, communication, books, images, and then AI creates things and puts it back on the internet, and then scrapes the internet of its own garbage. And so the truth is disappearing. And people, businesses, creators, all these other people are just getting lost in this right now. This has hurt businesses far more than you know. Businesses are having such a hard time right now because they used to be able to be found on Google. And now you cannot find them. Even legitimate businesses that have been around for a long time cannot be found because you have these few mega giant corporations that are controlling the flow of information. They do not care that you are not finding what you want. The only thing they care about is you are being harvested. That's it. You are not a person to them. You are a product. You are something to be harvested. And so that's where we've gone to. Now, there used to be something called crowd wisdom. And that was when humans got together and would exchange ideas and have debate and things like that. But now that has been diluted and taken over by AI bots. You guys, a lot of you guys have no idea how much of the things you see online are not human anymore. When I looked into this, I realized that the internet has just been completely taken over. Everything is fake. It is absolutely fake. There are a lot of bad actors that are trying to affect public opinion. When there's a fringe idea that they want to push, they will make tons of posts that push that idea. And if you debate back, they'll send tons of AI bots onto you. There are so many things that are being affected right now by AI bots. And we're having a problem right now because where do you get your news? You can't get it from the internet anymore. It's fake. Now, I'm talking mostly, I noticed that I do talk mostly to people that are age 45 and up because they relate to me a little bit more. I would say the generation that, is like 16 years old to 25. They don't know what we're talking about. I mean, think about them. They grew up in the pandemic. They thought it was normal to stand 6 feet apart from each other. So our next generation's really in trouble. I would have to say that there is a lot of mental illness going around. And I don't know what's going to happen here. Because the older people, they kind of understand what we call the good old days. Everybody talks about their good old days, but if you think about it, when we were younger, 70s and 80s and things like that, and some of you guys grew up in the 90s, things were a lot different than they are now. And you know what? This is only going to get worse. So what's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you what's happening. The younger people are going to become more addicted. They're going to embrace the fake. In fact, they're even going to have relationships with AI. The older people, what are we going to do? we're going to walk away. Think about it. We remember what it's like to do something else besides be on your phone. We went outside. We went and talked to each other face to face. We're going to do that again. And so I would say to you that in the breakdown of all of this total garbage that has manifested and is being pushed by all these companies and all these data centers being put up, I really think people are going to walk away. And the big companies are going to find a way to force you, instead of encourage you with addiction, they're going to find a way to force you to return to the internet. You will not be able to walk away, but we will. And some of you guys are going to realize that less is more. You're going to realize that progress is not what you thought it would be. Instead of progressive, some of us might become digressive. We might grow our own crops. I know that sounds weird for some of you guys, but I've been doing that for years. I have a really nice greenhouse. But that's not all what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we have lost trust. For those of you who still trust what you read on the internet, it's a matter of time. You either are going to figure this out or you're going to walk away. We're going to all start putting this stuff away. Because once the general public realizes how much of this stuff is fake and AI, they're going to try to bypass it. And the way you bypass it is you start getting together with people in person. And, that sounds primitive to some people. It sounds like, we're getting retro and going back in time, but, there's something to be said for keeping it simple, almost getting primitive. Now, I'm not talking about living without electricity. I'm talking about if you were dropped on a deserted island with a few other people, then you would find out in a hurry what's really important. You're going to find out that food and water are important, shelter is important, relationships are important, things like that. There's not going to be any of this crap trying to fake each other out, because in that situation, you get yourself hurt. We're not in a very simple situation right now. But I think people are starting to long for the simple, the real, the wholesome. And just to keep my sanity, I go walking in the forest every single day. Even when I'm thinking about what I'm going to say on a video, I'm out in the forest. I climb up on the ridges and look out over the view for miles and miles. And some of the places I go, I can't even get a phone signal. And you know what? That's okay. Because there's a certain amount of peace in that. But in a world of everything is fake, I think the people who get real are going to survive it. The people who are fake and buy into all this stuff, they're going to be the victims. So, anyway, that was kind of off the cuff for you guys. Appreciate you guys listening. If you listened up to now. And be sure to drop a comment. I do check out, make sure everybody's real in the comments. Every once in a while I'll get some weirdo that is a human, and they're young and they have mental problems. But we figure out who they are. See what's got to be done. So anyway, catch you guys later, and remember, for everything we gain, there's something lost.